What's up, Active Lifers? Welcome back to the Active Life Podcast. I'm Dr. Sean Pastuch. I'm your host, and today is going to be an episode that was completely unplanned. You're going to get to listen in to a conversation that I led with our sales team at both Active Life RX and Active Life Professional. I originally planned to go back into the call that we had and make some notes about this meeting, and then go ahead and record a monologue podcast that did the best job it possibly could of sharing with you what we talked about in that meeting. The reason why I wanted to do that was because in the meeting, I talked about other companies and I talked about other people. And I try to make a habit of avoiding talking about other companies and other people on our public channels, because I believe that we can build the tallest building at Active Life without having to tear down other people's buildings to do it. After reviewing the call, trying to make notes, what I decided was that if I removed this call and tried to give it to you in a way that I could break it down myself, it would be inferior to the content of the sales team training. So what I did instead was I went into the sales team training and edited out all of the times when I felt like it was important that we redacted, if you will, the names of people and the names of companies who I believe are operating in a way that needs to be pointed out to our team at least, so that they can understand that this kind of stuff is happening in the world without pointing out those companies and those people to you. The reason why I don't want to point them out to you is because I believe you're smart enough to see it with your own eyes. And I believe that it's not my job or my place to start talking negatively about other people specifically, because I haven't been perfect. I've made mistakes, and I'm open to accepting the possibility that these people are making mistakes and they're doing the best that they know how to do right now, even if what they know how to do right now is problematic for the industry. And I want to give them that benefit of the doubt without tearing them down. So what you're going to hear on this podcast is a meeting that I was asked to have because every time I speak with Larry, who, if you're new to this podcast, Larry is one of the key team members here at Active Life, about the industry knowledge that I have when he asks questions, he feels like it better prepares him to service our clients. And so I shared with our sales team some industry knowledge that I thought was beneficial for them so that they could understand the empathy that we need to be able to have for clients before we determine that they should enroll with us. What that means about this call is a few things. Number one, the audio quality is good enough to listen to, but it's not going to sound like this microphone does right now. Number two, there have been pieces of it that were cut out because I believe those pieces would be negative for our social responsibilities. And there are pieces that were left in that may seem like, well, why did he leave these in if he took the other ones out? And the reason why I left the ones in that I left in is because those are about a process, not about a person, not about an intentional deletion of value from the industry. I think that they're necessary for context, and so they were left in. I hope you enjoy the podcast. And remember, please, if you do, it would mean a great deal to me and to us at Active Life if you would head to wherever you're listening to it and leave us a review. Believe it or not, those 5-star reviews that you leave us on Spotify, on iTunes, are very instrumental in helping more and more people find this podcast. So you going and hitting that review is you doing your part. I very much appreciate you taking 10 seconds to do that. Let's get to the show.
Sean.
And then I want you to go and look at the other one that I made and see that it's the same. Totally different topic, similar thread, same kind of engagement. It's been shared on people's story more than 25 times. So let's go to the first one, the one with the blue background. I want each of you to read through each of the slides, please. On your own, read through each of the slides. When you're done, just look up at the camera so I'll know you're done. The reason why that post, I believe, got the traction that it got is because it spoke to how everybody feels. And so what we're discussing right now is something Larry and I have talked about a lot, and it's the value of having industry knowledge and how to leverage industry knowledge to create empathetic content and have empathetic conversations. The first thing I will share with you is before I made that post, I reached out to a friend of mine, Dr. Gabrielle Lyon, who has huge exposure on her own social media channel. And she has a very similar problem to solve to the one that we have, in that she's telling people all this fucking veganism movement is not, it's not appropriate. It's the backwards way to go. And the idea of focusing on fat loss is actually the wrong way to go. We need to focus on muscle development and evaluate the health of skeletal muscle, because that will result in the loss of fat, which is what everybody is asking how to do. Instead of just losing fat and then saying, okay, I lost it, and then you're left with the same base metabolic rate. And when you go back to doing the same things you were doing before, the fat all comes back. Everybody follow that? She's been able to do that without calling out James Cameron's ridiculousness in Game Changers, a documentary about why athletes who are vegans are better athletes, right? And I find that fascinating because all I want to do is fucking torch people. I want to be able to hold up things like, hey, I made this post telling people that their business is going to fail during the pandemic. You want to do work with them? Because they're probably going to have to keep you scared. So what are you scared of right now? You're still going to be scared of it in 2 years from now, regardless of how much money you're making. Is that how you want to be? Like, I want to do that. But it's not the most effective way to operate. So the industry knowledge I want you to understand from this post in particular is the facts. A fitness professional is making $19 per hour. Now, someone who's making $25 per hour doesn't see that and say, I'm killing it. They look at that and say, yeah, our whole industry is too devalued. Everyone follow that? Then they question, why does someone with my skill set only make $19 an hour? And what happens is they're asking that because everybody who they've paid to acquire that skill set has told them this is the only skill set that you need to be successful, right? They don't realize that until you show it to them. What made you believe that taking a weekend seminar would be effective for you to develop a career? Well, they all told me that if I did this, I would be able to have a fulfilling career doing really valuable work. Okay, so you've been told by a person who certified you or a company who certified you that you have enough education to be extremely valuable to people. Yes? Yes, great. So was your gym owner. The gym owner for whom you work was told the same thing by somebody. Now, who told them? Who told them that? A certifying body told them that. Okay. A certifying body could be ACE, it could be NASM, it could be ISSA, it could be NSCA, it could be CrossFit, it could be AFA. It doesn't matter who it is. All of those certifying bodies, you take $500 or $1,000, you get your certification, and then you have license to go and execute with clients. The promise that they're making without saying it is this is a career. Some of them do say it, right? This is a career. What I want all of you to do right now is go to the website. Actually, I'll just pull it up. Hold on one second. Take a look on this website. What are the things that stand up to you? Like, what are the things that you're like, wow, okay, that's the first thing I saw? Corey.
Special offer, $57 a month.
Rachel.
Same thing, the discounts.
I didn't just do that. Right? What are they saying when their website does this? What are they telling us when everything—
cheap and easy.
Cheap and easy, right? And then, by the way, also we price it at this, it's not even worth that. We can give it to you for so much less and then come down here, right? Now we're looking at how do you get enrolled? We have 4 different options, but all of them lead to the same career. All of them do, right? All of these are now majorly discounted. They're 50% off. Why? Because it's Christmas. Okay. Right? So, and I can save big on the 12 days of fitness for the next 14 hours. What are you going to do if that's how you were taught? That's how you bought. What are you going to do when you sell?
Same thing.
Same thing. And what happens is, are they selling a really high value product if they're discounting it like that? But they're telling you that you are. And they're telling you that they are. And so you proverbially believe that you are.
Well, to play devil's advocate, whatever they learn is extremely high value for the people for whom it's relevant.
Go on.
If the people are consuming that education and they're finding clients for whom that education and their delivery is perfect, it is extremely high value.
How often does that happen?
As often as someone is a fit for fitness.
I disagree. I think that what we need to be looking at there is how often is it likely that that person who buys from them gets the results that they want, as compared to how often is it possible for the person who buys from them to get the results that they want. So this, what you're describing right there butts up against the conversation I have with CrossFit enthusiasts all the time that they hate to have, that they hit like a computer glitch and fucking die. It's, if CrossFit's so valuable, why don't you charge what we charge? Because if it was
It's possible, but not likely.
No, we keep going. If it was as valuable, why wouldn't people pay it? Someone just answer that for me, right? If we have people paying $150 for a personal training session and your class is just as good, why not charge the same thing? We're proving people pay it. And if you don't want to charge the same thing, why not charge half? Imagine if people paid $75 a class to go to a CrossFit gym. We're talking about 9xing the membership rate. Right? So the point I'm making there is it's not as valuable. It's not. And there isn't any way to slice that up. So what happens is they're given this discount career. They become a discount provider. They don't make enough money to continue to pursue valuable education. Valuable education typically isn't discounted. From the very beginning, they were put further back on the starting line than they otherwise could have been. Everyone follow me there? Okay. I was watching one of the things that I stopped doing for a while because it made me angry. But there was an appropriate level of angry that I needed to have. Was I used to go to open houses for houses that I couldn't afford to buy yet. And I would actually book private showings at some of these houses as if I was fit to buy it, just to be treated like somebody who could afford to buy it, just to put myself in the position of someone who could buy that house. We're talking about $12, $15 million houses on the water right here in Long Beach. I'd be like, let's take a look at it. They would ask, what do you do for work? I own a tech company. Cool. Very, like, to a realtor? Fuck does that mean? They have no idea what that means. So they would give me a tour of anything, right? It made me angry because I was like, I should have access to these things and I don't. And I started to compare myself to other stuff. And I stopped looking at my house as a place I liked being. So I stopped doing that. But I started rewatching shows about high-end real estate, your $1 million listing kind of stuff. I stopped doing that for a while too. And the reason that it's relevant is when you look at the agents on most of those shows, 85% of the agents who work really hard, mommy and daddy got them their first listing. Dad owns Kenko's Tile, the biggest tile distributor on all of Long Island. No wonder the son is a real estate agent in the Hamptons. Oh, this one's dad builds all the houses that all the other realtors sell. No wonder you got your first fucking account, right? So the point that I'm making with that is when we look at people who are successful in the fitness space, it's no different, right? It's either they're extremely charismatic and someone put them on a platform, or they got famous, they got acclaim doing something else, and then moved into fitness and leveraged the audience they already had. Every CrossFit Games athlete selling programs did that. Every bodybuilder who sells programs did that. You all follow me here? And so the do what I did for them doesn't work. And so all of our clients, our prospects out there are, and this relates to you, Rachel, I'll get there in a second. They are trying to buy the solution to their problem from somebody who is not the certifying body, because they believe they already have all the skills they need to have because the certifying body told them that they have them. They're trying to give it to the client at the end, but the client doesn't want to buy it because the skill isn't actually that valuable. And now they look around, well, what the fuck am I supposed to do? And there's somebody standing there saying, do what I did. I can help you make money doing this. Right? And so then they sign up to go work with that person. And they show up and there's 50 people on a screen with them. Or they get one call a month with a mentor who is literally in between coaching classes at their own gym that isn't successful, that they took a job mentoring because they needed to make the money. And the mentor paid and took a certification course to become a mentor. And that was the extent of their vetting process. Let me give you some really clear insight here. Well, what's a mentor? Remember, what did I just tell you a mentor is? Somebody who just bought a certification. Who, by the way, owns their own gym that's fucking failing. And then what happens is they're teaching somebody else how to run a successful gym. That person's not going to be successful. When that person is doing that, what is the value of the service that the client is getting when they show up? It's low. That's the answer, Rachel. It's low. If the value of the service that the client is getting when they show up is low, what is the price that they should expect the client's going to want to pay? It's low. About half the price of the value. And then what comes next is the gym owners start to believe people won't pay for this. So then they start to commoditize. And they go back and they look at, where did I get my education? Oh, they discount. I'm going to discount. I'm going to jack up my rate. And then I'm going to discount that rate. So I'm charging about what I need to be charging. Right? If you need to price manipulate to get people to buy what it is that you're selling, what does it say about what you're selling? And if you're getting people to buy who you'd like to buy on discount, what is it saying about the people who are going to buy from you in the future? The way that you are sold is the way that you're going to want to buy over and over and over again. If you come in on a discount, you're going to want to stay on a discount. If you come in on fear, you're going to have to stay in fear if you're going to buy again. The big companies in our space, the certifying companies, even the organizations like URSA, they understand this. It's not an accident. It's on purpose because they create clients for life. You need to keep getting your CEUs. Well, guess what? If you want Active Life to be a CEU for NASM, Active Life has to pay NASM an estimated number of people who are going to buy our course to pay for the CEUs. It's a great business model. So it might seem like, oh, they can get CEUs from companies that aren't NASM though. Yeah, but we have to pay NASM so that they can get their CEUs from us. Okay? They are not set up to help people be successful. Then the mentors come in and they get to pretend that everybody is really good already because the certifying body said they're really good. So we're just going to They must be really good. So let's just teach them business systems, and they'll start making money. And it might work short term, but it doesn't work. And the person who gets screwed the whole time is the client at the end. If you want to run a little experiment, call every gym within a 5-mile radius of your home. Say you're thinking about signing up. Your goal is to lose 100 pounds. And ask them if they think their gym is a good fit for you. And tally up how many of them say no. They're all going to say yes without even asking you a fucking question about why you need to lose 100 pounds. That doesn't work. The gym owner who's doing that doesn't know they're doing it wrong. Usually. The coach who's doing that doesn't know they're doing it wrong. The culture is when they make it a priority, they'll be successful. It's not on us. We have the divine skill set that everybody needs. Okay? So what I came to realize is that speaking about the unintentional bully was counterproductive because these people didn't identify as the unintentional bully. But they do identify as a victim of sorts. Not a victim mentality, but as somebody who was preyed upon. Right? And that pisses them off. And if they can be pissed off because of something that we obviated, and not pissed at us because of what they believe we're telling them about themselves, then we've hit something positive. And that's what I did with that post. Follow? Once they understand that we understand what they're going through, then we can tell them, you're doing this to people by accident. You've acknowledged that all of this other stuff is true. So you have to acknowledge that this is true. But we're going to start with this first. Let's go to the next post. So go check out the next post that looks like a Twitter post. Read through the whole thing. I know it's a little bit longer. Go for it. Why was this post resonant to people? Rachel, what do you think? Because this is talking to your client. Why was this resonant to him?
Because most of them have probably been in a situation like this where, you know, they've hurt themselves acutely. They found themselves in urgent care and emergency room. They get some imaging done. They're not really asked too many questions about, you know, perhaps even their history and why they may be there. And they're just slapped with the diagnosis, depending on what's found in the imaging. And that's the end of, you know, what they can expect to be told, whether that's the truth or not.
And what if they haven't been in that situation? Why might it still resonate with them?
Because they may know somebody in that position, and or it could easily be them.
Yes. Because they know somebody who's been there if it hasn't been them. And they know that one day there's a high likelihood that this ends up being what they have to navigate themselves. Okay, that's for the individual. Why are coaches and gym owners taking this and running with it? Anderson.
They have someone in their gym who was doing just fine, and then they went to they had some sort of pain or something happened. They went to a doctor and then were told, oh, you can't do this anymore. And so then they come back to the gym and they're like, I don't know what to do.
Okay. True. Corey, why else?
I think coaches and gym owners are probably tired of big pharma and big medical taking clients and pushing them away from actual health.
Okay. Justin, why else?
I think the power of language part really resonates with them, like how important it is to the way you speak to someone about how they're feeling and how they're pain, as well as having a little bit of a chip on their shoulder against the medical community in general for scaring people and telling them that they're hurt and incapable when they actually aren't.
Okay. I feel like I'm watching my wife get ready to cliff jump right now as I listen to all of you give your answers. Let me tell you how my wife cliff jumps. She walks to the edge. She looks down. She goes, "Ooh," and then she gets back on
because
the
they
ledge.
want to be the solution.
Yes. Right? They get to the edge and they're like, I can help you with this. I want to be the person who's helping Bob. Everyone follow that? Why aren't they the person who's helping Bob?
They don't
Why
know how
aren't they don't know how to? Do they know that they don't know how to? They don't know
down.
that they don't know that they don't know how to. Right? And so who suffers when a fitness professional doesn't know that they don't know how to help somebody who comes to them?
the client.
Both actually,
Yes, both. Why both, Rachel?
because the client loses, and if the coach can't get that client results, then they are likely not to get referrals. They'll even probably have somebody say, hey, yeah, that guy can't help you. And so they'll lose out on business, and they won't have the social proof that they can do it.
Yes. Yes. Beautiful. So what's critical in understanding a post like this is that Bob didn't have to go anywhere for everyone on this screen to be able to describe what probably was going to happen to Bob as soon as he went somewhere. Right? It's important that you understand how and why that happens. So why and how, why does that happen? Is it that doctors don't give a shit about their patients?
No.
No. So why does that happen? How come Bob goes to urgent care and gets a painkiller that's not even the right painkiller?
They have neither the time nor the incentive to do something differently and more comprehensive.
Okay, perfect. They have neither the time nor the incentive to do something different. Their goal, send the patient out with a smile on their face. Right? Great. So they sent him he went to the hospital. Why didn't the hospital do something different? Why did they operate the same way? Is it that they don't care?
I think it's less they. Go ahead. Sorry, Justin.
I mean, a lot of that stuff is kind of CYA best practices around insurance and malpractice. So they can't not image him, because if they send him out and he falls down and they find that his spine is broken, then they're liable.
Yes.
They're also likely under time limits. They don't have an hour to sit down and talk with Bob about what's actually happening.
So it's both of the things that Larry mentioned and the thing that Justin and Corey were mentioning there, right? They have no incentive to do anything different, and they do have incentive to do that. That is the opportunity cost of not. Right? If they take inaction there and Bob ends up having something significantly wrong with him, they didn't take the image, they didn't pass the buck on to the next person. Right? Why would the radiologist describe Bob's disc as degenerative? Are they not, are they degenerative?
Yeah, it's probably technically true.
Yeah, he's looking at a still shot of somebody he doesn't know. They are degenerative.
It's technically true. His discs are degenerative. Why didn't the radiologists say, according to most studies, people over the age of 65 are going to have 90% of their discs be degenerative anyway, so this may not be a relevant finding. Please refer to the client's medical history and presentation of complaint. Why didn't they do that?
I'm taking a guess here. Has something to do with like diagnosis quota and what's billable and what isn't?
No.
It's not their job.
What do you mean it's not their job?
Radiologist's job is to interpret the image. This is what it is. This is what it shows.
Yes.
Jack, move on.
So the image is meant to confirm. It's not meant to diagnose. that when you're in the medical industry and you order imagery, it's because you believe something may be happening and you want to order imaging to see if it's there. You don't order imaging to say, let's see what's going on. Okay? The reason for that is because 90% of people his age have degenerative discs, regardless of their previous life. So the imaging, the radiologist's job is just to relay information to the doctor about what is there. That's it. Like if a lawyer asks you, do you have the time? The answer is yes. Not, it's 3:30. Just answer the question. So now what happens is it goes back to the doctor. He has degenerative discs. Okay, that's all they found on an MRI. So why was he then prescribed a dose of medication, like a new dose of medication, or the recommended an epidural? Why is that what was recommended?
Because he has pain based on a condition. And instead of trying to change the reason he has the thing, their job in the moment is to make the pain go away based on the condition that was confirmed by the image.
Okay, who knows how an epidural works?
Is it?
The nerve blocker?
They're different. All right, let me explain to you how
It goes in the epidural space before the spinal cord.
Yes, it does. So typically what will happen is when they provide an epidural, gravity does its thing. An epidural is a liquid. So it's being injected into a given spot. Let's say that the area of injury is L2. They're going to inject the epidural above L2. It's going to drip down to L2. It's going to drip to L3, L4, L5, all the way down, right? So it's reasonable that if he's at any issue related to his spinal cord or a nerve root below L1, it's going to be handled by an epidural. That's why they would do that. You can come in. That's why they would do that. So it's a catch-all. It's the easiest, fastest way to get the patient out of their office without their pain. Hey, Kim, you can come in. Hello. Come here. Don't wait for me. All right, come say hi. Come here, come say hi.
No.
Yes. We don't get to come here and not say hi. I got a surprise visitor today. So, all right, fine, get out of here. So, what ends up happening is everybody is trying to just cover their ass, and nobody has the time to do what is necessary for the patient/client. The coach needs to be able to do it. And I'm doing it, babe. And the coach doesn't have the skill set, the education, the experience, or the knowledge that they don't have the skill set, the education, or the experience to be effective. That makes sense, everybody?
I'm pretty sure we're all just preoccupied with the fucking present at this point, so let's just get that over with.
Woo, I love it. Thank you.
Solid reindeer.
Thank you, Camden. All right, I'll be with you guys in 7 minutes. Thank you. Hang out for 7 minutes. I'll be with you then.
That was our plan.
Grab the lollipop. Careful, there's a cord. So the reason why it's important for you to know this is because we are not selling people a product. We're not selling people a service. We're selling people an off-ramp from the way that the industry functions today. That's the difference. We're not selling them another thing that fits them into it. We're selling them something that gets them out of it. Anyone have questions about how that's true?
Can you repeat the last sentence?
We're not selling them a solution to help them better fit in it. We're selling them a way out of it.
You're talking about us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The end user client. Get out of those two industries. The medical industry is going to want to medicate you, cut you open, tell you to rest. The fitness industry thinks they know how to help you. Do I need to say anything more? No. Okay.
I think that we as a team need to be able to say a lot more to the end user.
I'm talking to you guys right now.
Okay.
So what I'm describing there is you're talking to somebody about being able to help a client. And what you did with the guy, Larry, who was a Equinox Tier 3 manager, was all that you can do. Hey, here's a case study of a client. Would you feel confident taking this person on? If they say yes, they don't perceive a problem that we can solve. They have too much unconscious incompetence for us to be able to help them. Right? If they say no, then the next question is, would you like to? It's that simple. When you're talking to an RX prospect, and that simple doesn't make it easy, by the way, it's just simple. When you're talking to an RX client prospect, I imagine you've experienced this, or you don't want to experience this. Does that sound correct? Yes. And I imagine that if the people if the gym that you worked at had somebody who you had confidence could help you with this, we wouldn't be talking right now. Is that true? Yes. Okay. Then we're on the same page that neither the medical industry nor the fitness industry is set up to help you. All roads are now leading to us. And Rachel, it's valuable for you to be thinking about this too. Cody asked me Sunday, maybe. He said, I have a member of my gym who needs, like, she's got this issue going, like she's low on the self-love scale. She's overweight. She's got a little bit of aches and pains. Anybody you can recommend who could help this person online? And for me, that was like huge alarm bells going off. How is that not obviously someone who we should be helping? If this person's going to work with somebody remotely, who better than us to work with that person? And so that leads down and I told him that. I'm like, talk to Ryan. Let's find out who the best person on staff is to help them. Let's build systems to support them. I don't know if they've been connected to you yet or not, Justin.
Not yet, but Cody told me they were coming.
Great. So we need to expand how we think about what the word pain means and find it where people are dealing with it. Remember, pain is just a negative emotional response associated with irritation made worse by uncertainty. I am 40 pounds overweight. It bothers me. And I don't know how to change it. I've tried all of these different things. None of them have worked. How are we not a fit for that person from the exercise side of what they're doing perspective?
So where is the line between nutrition clients and the clients
that person might need to be a nutrition client too?
So are you saying that we can also help them?
We would need to get them a nutrition provider if that's what they need. But so a friend of mine, and I'll end with this, and then it'll just be a thought experiment thereafter. A friend of mine is on the yo-yo. Weight up, weight down, weight up, weight down, weight up, weight down. He just got a job that pays extremely well. Extremely well. Compared to what he was making before. I was like, dude, this is your opportunity. Take an outsized action towards a problem that you've never actually taken action towards solving in a meaningful way. Hire somebody whose job it is to prepare all of your food for the family for the week, to make all of the snacks that are going to live in your cabinet and your refrigerator, to color code it in such a way that you know how many blues, reds, greens, oranges to eat every single day for the lifestyle that you want to live, so that you can get into the habit of eating the way that somebody who wouldn't need to lose weight ever again would eat. I'm like, how much money do you spend on self-development every year? None. Great. Then you have a budget for it. Spend it. Like, it might cost you $2,000 a month plus the food for your whole family to eat healthy. What's that worth? he's not making $1 million a year. He's just making much better money than he was making before. And the reason I share that with you is because that's what I believe it's going to take for him. And if he doesn't take that action, the alternative is he's going to continue to yo-yo. He's probably going to live fewer years, and the quality of those years will be lower than it could have been. Is that worth $2,000 a month for a year or so? Yes, in my opinion, it is. So they might need to work with both, Corey. That's the answer to your question. But the reason why most corporate wellness plans don't actually get the unhealthy people within the company is because they're offering fitness and nutrition. And those people are not ready for either. Our staff should be ready to have a conversation with somebody about, let's just go for a walk today. Your program this week is you're going to go for a walk for 10 minutes, 4 days. And on one of those days, I'm going to talk to you the whole time you're on that walk. We should be able to do that. That's a custom program. I would like you to bring those clients in so that we can challenge our team to figure it out. All right. I hope you enjoyed that version of today's podcast. As more and more calls like that come up, I will look to share them with you because I believe it was valuable. And I want to keep putting valuable content out. I hope that for those of you who are listening to this, who have been in a sales environment before, or who have been asked to sell before, to make a living for yourself or for a company you work at, that you are able to see some of the differences in the way that we think about sales at Active Life and the way that I think most sales are being executed in the marketplace. We trademarked the term ethical sales for a reason, and we intend to uphold it. I appreciate you listening. Have yourself a wonderful day. Turn pro.